Weeks after Guyana's 13th Parliament was sworn in, the seat for the leader of the opposition remains conspicuously empty. A standoff between the newly elected opposition party and the Speaker of Parliament threatens to send the matter to court. What began as letters and warnings has now turned into visible public protest. Last week, a group of WIN MPs and supporters gathered outside the Parliament building, picketing in rising rain and raising slogans. Swear in the opposition leader and "We voted, don't deny us our democracy." Protesters carried placards with photos of the speaker and accused him of bias and collusion with the governing party. Supporters called the delay a blatant disregard for the will of the electorate. WIN is the newly formed political party that won 16 seats in September's general election, becoming the largest opposition group in the National Assembly. Its leader, Azruddin Mohammed, expected to be formally recognized as leader of the opposition, now finds himself in limbo. Despite repeated requests, a letter on November 3 and follow-up emails on November 10 and 17, Speaker Mansour Nadir has yet to convene the opposition meeting needed to elect a leader of the opposition. Now WIN is escalating the issue. Mohammed has announced the party will file legal action against the speaker unless the meeting is convened immediately, describing the delay as a constitutional affront. "We have to move to the court," Mohammed told reporters after an extradition hearing involving himself and his father. He said he will continue performing as the presumptive opposition leader while the matter plays out. Lawyers for WIN argue that under Article 184, parentheses 1 of the Constitution, the Speaker is obligated to convene the non-government MPs as soon as possible to elect the opposition leader. Delay, they say, undermines the functioning of democracy. MP and WIN General Secretary Odessa Primus told media the delay is a dangerous signal, warning the country is drifting toward a de facto one-party rule. "This is supposed to be democracy, but right now whatever the government says goes," she said. Other opposition parties have joined calls for action. A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, which holds the second largest bloc on the opposition benches, has emphasized that the post of opposition leader should not be left vacant. Observers believe several factors may be behind the speaker's silence. First, the charged legal backdrop. Azruddin Mohammed and his father are currently fighting an extradition request from the United States, where they have been indicted on multiple counts, including fraud, money laundering, and export tax evasion. That looming trial has created a climate of uncertainty, not just for Mohammed, but for his party's leadership viability as opposition leader. The government has repeatedly said that even if elected to that position, Mohammed would not be immune from extradition. Second, political calculation. For the ruling party, delaying the formalization of a strong opposition leader may serve to blunt oversight and give the government more room to govern without a fully empowered opposition bench. Analysts warn that postponing constitutional obligations is a slippery slope, especially in a system where checks and balances depend heavily on the office of the opposition leader. Third, constitutional ambiguity. Article 184, parentheses 1 mandates election of the opposition leader, but sets no firm timeline. That loophole may be what the Speaker and his allies are relying on, a de facto disregard for precedent, but arguably within legal bounds. For many critics, tradition and democratic expectation matter as much as the letter of the law. This matters far beyond parliamentary protocol. The leader of the opposition in Guyana holds a critical constitutional role, responsible for advising on major appointments and ensuring the government remains accountable. A prolonged vacancy weakens checks and balances, reduces oversight, and risks creating a governance gap. It also raises questions of political fairness. If the party with the most opposition seats cannot formalize its leadership, citizens may view Parliament as unresponsive, undermining trust in the process and in their electoral voice. WIN's attorney has already drafted proceedings. If no meeting is convened within the ultimatum period, the case could be filed in the High Court. That would force the judiciary to rule on whether the Speaker's inaction violates constitutional duties and to order him to convene the necessary meeting. Meanwhile, WIN and its supporters say they will remain visible and vocal, with more protests likely, as they push for what they call respect for the people's mandate. The legal battle could further polarize politics, diverting attention from pressing national issues and deepening divisions, especially with the extradition case involving opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed hanging over his head. At CaribbeanToday.com, we cover your world.